Hello, everybody. It is January 30th on Saturday here. Almost at the end of the month, we have a day to go. And Bitcoin, is very obviously at a very critical level. Past couple of days ago here, we were talking about this demand zone where every time we touch it, people try to buy Bitcoin. It's a very discounted price. Every time we had those massive drops at the bottom from the top all the way, 25%. That's a very good sale on Bitcoin. Same thing over here, 25%. We buy it. Same thing here recently with those drops we're having. We're also seeing, same thing recently, 16% drop. We hit this zone that we're in, and then we fly up. Now, for the longest time, obviously, we were on this descending triangle. After this major run up, we're having lower highs as we go. It was clear that Bitcoin is forming this pattern. And then a couple days ago here, we were at this area here where Bitcoin actually did drop below this 200 EMA on the 6 hour. We started seeing those wicks, and then we said, okay, you know what? For Bitcoin to actually have some sort of significant uptick here, for us to see that, a breakout is coming, we need to break above this level right here. And that was on the smaller time frame. I'll show you why this level was very critical. But what happened was we found that support at the 200 EMA, went all the way up, touched this triangle over here. But the nice thing about it was that the most telling thing about it was lower highs as we go, right? So there was significant difference between, so let's say from this high over here down to this high, we're looking at 5%. So every time we have the next high coming, we'd have a 5%. Same thing here. Now this one was a bit more. This one was 7%. Now the next drop right here, it wasn't that much. It was actually significantly less in terms of retracement, right? In terms of a lower high. It wasn't technically a lower high anymore. It's more like, okay, we actually did go all the way up. Technically, we were supposed to go here and then drop again, right? Because that's where the expected resistance was supposed to be. But we did break above that, right? If Bitcoin was trying to reverse off of this line over here, then yes, that would have been like, okay, yeah, we're continuing to go down. Maybe we need to give it a bit of time, and it could just be a sign of, hey, we're just being rejected by this area over here, and that's it. Not enough strength, not enough momentum. Bitcoin should actually probably break below this zone. So, and that's not what happened. So that's what we said a couple of days ago. We were at this line where we're looking at the 4 hour, and we saw that majority of our resistance was here, right? The 100 EMA, the 200 EMA, and that was reflected on all charts we were looking at, from the daily chart with this zone over here to the 6 hour chart. Majority of the resistance was here, right? We're looking at all of our EMAs at the same area, and we're looking at the 4 hour, same exact thing, right? So it was very important for Bitcoin to break above this zone over here. And then right as soon as it went up, you saw this massive increase in momentum, and we broke out of that, and that was coupled with a nice volume, uptick. And then as soon as we went all the way up, we started seeing those long wicks to the bottom, to the top, where people start to take some profit, right? So this was more of a technical breakout, right? This wasn't like there was a lot of traders that were looking at this to take some profit, right? And then right after the breakout, we're having some for us like 15% profit. So a lot of people try to take that profit, and we see that decrease in the price action. So now typically what happens with this kind of pattern, with the descending triangle, you would have your breakout. So you'd have that breakout. So you'd reach all the way here. You come down, maybe play around for a bit, break out of it, come down to retest, and then shoot up. And now when you shoot up, right, that's obviously if you look at all the, typical breakouts of a triangle like this, you would take the height of your actual base here. So it would be basically this over here, right, from the top of the triangle to the bottom. And then you take it exactly where you had your breakout. And then you would see that, okay, so it's supposed to actually reach back up to the 45K. Now, is that going to happen? There's a chance, right? Technically speaking, from a technical analysis standpoint, there is a chance that, Bitcoin is supposed to reach all the way up here. And now the significant thing is that on the monthly chart, we're looking at Bitcoin having this major retracement to the bottom. And the thing about it is that we have a day and 5 hours, and a new month will come into play. Now with this over here, we're looking that Bitcoin actually went all the way up to almost 50% increase in price. And the retracement that we're looking at right now is from 50%, and now it went down all the way to 22% increase. So it's below the half. And usually, even from my own perspective, a retracement past like the 60% or the 70% is actually bearish. But that's on a much, much, much bigger time frame. We're looking at the monthly here. This is where corporations look at. They look at the 3-month performance, the 5 months, the 6 months performance, and that's where they invest, right? We're looking at a yearly kind of investment here. But just to give you an idea of what could actually happen, right, on the monthly time frames, on the weekly time frame, we're looking like this. We had a major run up, right? We saw this triangle we got stuck in this triangle right here. And now we went sideways for a bit, for almost a month. And then we found that support on the weekly at the 8. This is the 8 EMA. Yeah, this is the 8 EMA. So we found that support at the 8 EMA, and we're seeing a lot of indecisiveness. We drop, we see a lot of indecisiveness, have a day and 5 hours to close, and we're seeing some significant resistance, obviously. The only thing that's I would say more telling about this is the fact that the volume right now. So on the last week, this volume over here, right, this red one, actually drove the price significantly down, and we see that clearly, right? And the way I look at volume is that, let's say if I'm looking at 600, if we're looking here, 647,000 Bitcoins were traded last week. And it actually, in terms of price action, if we're looking from open and close, we actually went all the way down to a 10% drop. And then obviously we're having those battles between the buyers and the sellers on the side, but more buyers came in, but it dropped us all the way down here. Now with almost similar volume, and we know there's a day left, similar volume here actually drove us back up, meaning that buyers are actually coming in. Meaning that if you're saying that the same amount of volume yesterday, of a volume of or Bitcoins traded yesterday or the week before, it drove me at a much bigger body of a candle. Now this week's candle is about to close, and the same amount of volume almost is actually driving me up. That's telling me that this had more sellers, this had more buyers, but this had significantly more buyers to actually push the price all the way up. So we're seeing that volume turn more to the buyers. However, if you're looking, I don't like to look at the MACD and the RSI when we're at a breakout, for example, or at a resistance support line. But we're seeing that also, just like how the monthly was telling us the same story, is that we're expected to have some sort of retracement. Now, how long does this retracement stay for? Did we retrace enough here? It's been a month of retracement for Bitcoin. So that's also something to keep in mind. If we're looking at the 6 hour here, so we had that massive uptick, we dropped, and now we're retesting this area. So from a technical standpoint, we're still bullish on Bitcoin, right? We're still very bullish on Bitcoin. If we're looking technically speaking, you have a breakout, you go up, you retest the bottom, and then you start going back up. And we're seeing volume is extremely low right now, because if we're looking at that retracement we had, right, the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hour candles, we're seeing that a low volume after this time over here, showing less interest in that retracement right now. It's showing that less people want to sell it. Less and less people want to sell it. Less and less sellers are interested in selling now. And that's usually shows a sign of exhaustion in the market for whatever trend we're seeing right now. Because if we're looking at this 6 hour, which is a smaller time frame than the weekly and the monthly, we're looking at less and less, and people are interested in this retracement. Soon enough, buyers will have to come in to actually validate that for us. We haven't seen that yet, but that's what this is telling us. Still same thing on the MACD, we're losing strength, but this is compared to this, because this candle skewed the results a lot here. It actually pushed the MACD too much high up. But if we're looking at a pattern, we still haven't really, did what this is supposed to do. The breakout didn't fully do what it's supposed to do. We had the breakout, and now we gotta push back up. That's how it typically should be. And then obviously, whatever's happened with Elon Musk and all the craze that's going on, that's also skewing this. More buyers came in and actually drove this a lot higher up. So that's something to keep in mind. If I'm looking at the 1 hour here, This is what the 1 hour is telling me. So we did have that breakout. We came back again to retest, and now we're retesting it. So we clearly saw a support on the 100 EMA and the 200 EMA, but not only that, on the actual resistance line that now became a support. For the longest time, for a whole month, it's been resisting our price action. Now it's actually becoming a support, and I think soon enough here, within the next 2, 3, 4 hours, we need to see a breakout above Bitcoin, above this line. So for Bitcoin to actually satisfy my viewpoint on this, I would need to see a breaking above this ascending triangle. And we have been making that ascending triangle. We have been seeing those long wicks to the bottom that are driving us above, and see how this became very skewed here. It's just not as smooth. It's just because obviously this candle over here, but we're seeing that support on the bottom. We're seeing the wicks come in. We're seeing a very clear ceiling to that to this ascending triangle. And yeah, this candle is very telling. The wick here, a lot of buyers are coming in. A lot of buyers are accumulating. 1% driving it up, and then same thing here, and then same thing here, and then same thing here, and same thing here, and same thing here. So almost every candle is having a lot of buyers trying to push it in. So soon enough here, if this breaks out of this and starts to go sideways a bit, that's a different story. Then we'll have to go back down again to the 4,000, 33,500, and we need to see if this is going to hold again. But looking at this right now, it's looking good. It's looking that we retested. We're having an ascending triangle. We are heading towards some sort of a breakout. We're seeing that the volume is so low over here, showing us that less and less people are interested in that retracement. Smaller volume is actually driving us up, right? So relatively speaking, if maybe if I push this all the way up here, so move to existing pane above, less volume is actually causing that increased momentum upwards. So let's see. We need to see Bitcoin break above the 34,500. We have to see that. We're seeing it that it's getting bought up right now as we speak. Obviously, there's the long wick here. You can argue that this is where we should be breaking above. So even if we break above the 34,350, it's also the same thing. But as soon as we break above, I expect Bitcoin to continue the uptrend, and especially so on lower time frames right now, Bitcoin looks bullish. On higher time frames, like the weekly, Bitcoin looks like it's, oh my God. Let me just move this back down here. We're seeing that Bitcoin is finding that support on the weekly. We're seeing that the MACD is telling us a different story. It's supposed to go all the way down, but especially at those critical breakouts here, I don't like to look at the MACD and the RSI because they're very skewed because of the price action, right? So yeah, so let's see what happens here. We got a couple, I would say 2 hours, or maybe honestly reset soon here, that we're going to see that break above. And if we do see a break above, then that's actually very good news. We're definitely going to see more resistance at the 35,346. But yes, it's looking good right now on smaller time frames, but the bigger time frames are telling some sort of they're just a bit worrying, right? So we need to see what happens tomorrow, specifically when the day is over, right? When the day is over tomorrow, a lot of things are being said about Bitcoin, and we need to see what that monthly long wick to the upside is means to the market, right? So yeah. Let me know if I missed anything. If you have anything to comment, please leave in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe, and watch out for our videos that we're going to put out today. Again, thank you.